Hey there. So, tuples in Python are super handy for a bunch of reasons, and I'm stoked to dive into this together. Picture tuples as this ordered collection of objects, something like a list but with a twist: you can't change its content once you've set it up. Kind of like your birth date or the laws of gravity, things that are pretty much unalterable. Now you might be wondering, why in the world would I ever choose a tuple over a list? Well, let me tell you, there are moments when you want to lock things in, so they stay as they are. Imagine you are dealing with a set of coordinates you are never going to swap. A tuple is perfect for that because it's secure and can't be tampered with, ensuring data integrity. Tuples are created by enclosing your data in parentheses and separating the items with commas. Here's a little taste of what that looks like in Python. Python my_coordinates is equal to hash that's Paris latitude and longitude. Once you've created a tuple, poking around in it to change the latitude or longitude is an exercise in futility. Python is going to keep throwing tantrums if you try. This immutability is one key thing about tuples, and it really comes into play when dealing with data that should remain static. One cool thing about tuples is their hashability, which allows them to be used as dictionary keys, something that lists can't claim. Imagine being able to create a dictionary where your keys are tuples, and the values are flavors of ice cream you love, with each scoop tied to a specific year. Or the delightful year-to-flavor connections you can map out. Tuples also tend to use less memory than lists, though for this, you'd need a heap of items to notice the difference. But that aside, they do speed up code execution due to their immutability, especially when dealing with large collections. They keep things snappy. And here's something else to ponder: how they're used in function returns. Functions in Python typically return lists, but what if you've got multiple values to hand back? Tuples come to the rescue again. They can elegantly bundle up and bring those values back home. Tuples have their use in unpacking too. This handy trick lets you assign each item in a tuple to a separate variable, doing it in one fell swoop. It's like giving each element their own little house to live in, all organized and tidy. Last but definitely not least, tuple concatenation is allowed. You can join a couple of tuples without rewriting a new variable and without resorting to lists. This can simplify your code and keep it looking clean and professional. In essence, tuples help you maintain simplicity, security, and speed in your Python code, providing a great tool when it comes to storing data that's not quite meant to change. If you are delving into the world of data science or any field requiring reliable data storage, understanding tuples and their role will give you an edge. Now, before I let you go, remember that every time you're in Python, it's worth exploring tuples for your data collection needs. They keep things consistent and reliable. And hey, if you want to see me guide you through more Python goodness, check out my content on dev.techlab.io. Happy coding! Visit neeraj.qzz.io and subscribe to TechLab. 1. Discuss the importance of creating complex, dynamic APIs with DRF and real-time applications with Django channels. 2. Dive into the specifics of how DRF can be integrated with Django channels to provide a single platform for both traditional Django REST API endpoints and WebSockets-based APIs. 3. Add considerations for asynchronous behavior in web projects with real-time updates. 4. Detail how Django channels handle multiple active WebSocket connections and the benefits of using group and channel_layer in a multi-user environment. Make sure to avoid jargon and explain concepts in layman's terms while maintaining the technical accuracy of the information. Start your narration immediately after writing. End by saying, for further exploration, visit dev.techlab.io and contribute to the Django knowledge base. 1. Explain how the Django REST framework's flexibility in creating custom viewsets and permissions contribute to constructing a more dynamic and secure web application. 2. Elucidate on the advanced concepts of Django REST framework like hyperlinked exceptions and automatic URLs generation, and discuss their strategic implementation in enhancing user experience and performance. 3. Introduce Django channels as an extension to Django views and dashboard, emphasizing its role in real-time applications through WebSockets and Django channels protocol, including the use of consumer classes. 4. Delve into the synchronization of DRF and Django channels by integrating Django REST framework's traditional HTTP endpoints with Django channels WebSocket support, highlighting the methods for achieving this. 5. Address the considerations and best practices for asynchronous behavior when WebSocket connections are involved, as well as when scaling such a system. Your narration should convey the depth and intricacies of working with Django REST framework and Django channels, while also touching on how developers can stay abreast of evolving trends and maintain the cutting edge of web application development. Include the significance of documentation, code commenting, and peer review in this development method. Initiate the dialogue immediately and ensure to conclude by stressing the importance of continuous learning within the Django community and inviting contributions. Visit dev.techlab.io for continuous dialogue and collaboration. 1. Start with Jordan elaborating on Django REST framework features like viewsets, custom fields, and permission_classes, explaining how these were crucial in constructing a robust and user-focused application. 2. Alex responds by discussing advanced features like serializations, pagination, and browsable API, providing insights into how these components were strategically chosen for user experience and application performance. 3. The conversation shifts as Jordan brings Django channels into the discussion, emphasizing the team's decision to integrate Django channels due to the necessity for real-time updates in financial data. Describe how Django channels layer, consumer classes, and group API were pivotal in their approach. 4. Alex then shares experiences regarding the synchronization of Django REST framework's HTTP endpoints with Django channels WebSocket support. Detail the innovative techniques applied and describe the hurdles faced and overcome during integration. 5. They discuss asynchronous behavior, including throttling and consumer groups, and strategies for handling the increased complexity when scaling WebSocket connections across different devices and platforms. 6. Address the role of thorough documentation, annotated code, and collaborative coding sessions that helped them stay up to date and aligned with best practices, which are imperative for maintaining the project's efficiency and evolving Django technologies. 7. Conclude with a dialogue about future goals using Django REST framework and Django channels, touching on what the project teaches them about Django's capabilities and limitations, while underscoring the continuous learning aspect. Your narrative should read as a professional exchange that showcases the depth of knowledge, real-world application, and adaptability of both developers, with the ultimate goal of enlightening peers in similar fields. 1. Start with an anecdote of Lee's initial hesitation towards moving beyond traditional Django development and the decision to pivot towards DRF and Django channels. 2. Detail how the use of DRF's serialization techniques and channels grouping and routing converge to manage the ever-growing user database and real-time data streams encountered in the team's projects. 3. Embed the critical moments when the team utilized DRF's automatic URL and view resolution and how it led to the development of novel features within their web applications. 4. Highlight the turning point moment where the team fully embraced using Django channels for their real-time application needs. 5. Address the initial struggles with asynchronous handling in their Django WebSocket applications and the subsequent learning experiences that ultimately led to the enhancement of their system's scalability and reliability. 6. Conclude with a forward-looking statement from Lee about the ongoing development within the Django ecosystem, reinforcing a message of continuous education, staying current with trends, and the value of community support for projects that employ Django REST framework and Django channels. The piece should emanate a tone of wisdom gained through experience, the challenges overcome, and the future the team, led by Lee, is eager to build upon. Jordan was the first to speak. The transition to Django REST framework, or DRF, and Django channels was challenging at first because we had been so deeply rooted in traditional Django methods. Taking myriads of interdependent systems and ensuring they function flawlessly, all the while securing user data, felt like a Herculean task. Alex nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. Absolutely. And with DRF's customizable permission_classes and our viewset's ability to streamline object retrieval and serialization, we managed to craft an application that's both user-friendly and robust. It's the details like custom permissions for different user roles and custom field sets for serializations that really set a tailored experience. The conversation flowed into DRF's capability to automatically generate URLs and views, which Alex had utilized to make the exploration of financial options feel as natural as navigating through a familiar document. However, he couldn't resist highlighting their bold decision to incorporate Django channels. It was a pivotal decision, the integration of channels with DRF. We used it to handle the real-time financial data streams that our analytics platform requires. The channels layer in particular became our backbone for communicating across different consumer classes. Lee, the project manager with a keen eye on asynchronous behavior, chimed in. We faced major challenges initially with throttling and managing consumer groups across multiple devices. It was a steep learning curve, but our resolve never wavered. We've optimized the system quite efficiently now. It's scalable, reliable, and truly a cutting-edge application. Alex recalled the struggles to manage these complexities. Our documentation evolved with our project. Asynchronous patterns and group join patterns became our documentation, learning tools. We held regular peer review sessions, which kept our codebase sharp and our skills honed. These gatherings became our knowledge fortress. Lee, with a reflective tone, continued, looking back, the struggle with our journey's learning curve led to growth, both as professionals and as a team. This project has been a testament to Django's capabilities when utilized to its full potential. The discussion veered into the future, setting goals amidst the technological advances the team was set to encounter. Lee ended on a buoyant note. Our commitment to continuous learning is just as critical as the Django knowledge we share here at Tech Innovations Incorporated. For continuous growth and innovation, we must keep evolving, just like the world we are building within the Django ecosystem. Visit neeraj.qzz.io and subscribe to TechLab for a continuous dialogue and collaboration.